Alright, as promised, I'm going to make you a video showing how much cotton I use on my RBA on my Mini. So let me get this going, get it rolling so it's not really too crazy long. So here we go. As you can see, I use a mini stick to build on. It's a little easier in my hand and I can turn the battery off just easily instead of just popping my batteries out. I just find it a little easier to work on because I can hold it in my hand firmly. Here's my coil. Okay. So alright, here's my cotton. Sometimes holding it gets to be a pain in my butt. Most of the cotton that you get when it comes with the RBA, it's a square. As you can see, I've used quite a bit. This isn't the one that came with the RBA. I bought this off of Amazon because I was running low on cotton and I got a better price on it. But it comes in a square and it's usually folded in half and then in half again. Well, I use that as my guideline for my RBA because it's a smaller coil. So here's the cotton. What I do is I gauge roughly about right here is about where I cut it. And then at the halfway mark I cut it again, just because that's a good gauge. And then I'm not wasting as much cotton on the RBA. So here, as you can see, is about how much I took, roughly. It's not a lot, but it's usually just the right amount for an RBA. Okay, there's several different ways to do this. With me, I haven't found a better way yet to keep from getting the oils from your skin on the cotton. But I take the end and I just kind of flatten out the end like that, so that way I can twist the end small enough, as you can see, to fit in the coil. Still got some juice. Alright, so you see that. So then after that I just kind of fluff out the cotton the best that I can. I pull it a little bit back and forth so the cotton kind of does fill the coil. But as you can see, it's not real tight. It's not extremely loose. Okay? And then when I trim it, so you can see this, my scissors touch the bottom of it right here, see? But I don't go all the way against the bottom. I go about where that lip is that you can see the groove in right next to the RBA that screws into the base. I go right almost next to it where I'm touching it, and then I just trim the cotton. I do the same thing on the other side where I'm right next to this, and I trim the cotton like so. The more fun part sometimes can be getting that RBA housing back on. My typical way that I do it is I take the RBA housing and I push it over on one side and I push the other cotton up so it goes up inside the RBA. I put my RBA housing on, and then I either use the little blue screwdriver or in the screwdriver kit the 2.4 millimeter, so I can take the cotton and I can push it down in like so, and I make sure I push it all the way down to where those wicking holes are, and I make sure the cotton isn't touching the best that I can the coil housing where the coil sits in the screws. See how the cotton is spaced evenly right here? So that's what I do with that. Now, other than that, I always make sure I clean my RBA housing before I put it on with the new cotton. I mostly do this, doing this due to the fact that I had one juice in it for almost 4 or 5 days because I drip and I use a tank. And I kind of do it the same way I do my dripper whenever I'm putting juice on it. I'll juice it first so that the cotton's just wet. I don't know about this one. We're going to give this juice a try though. Okay. RBA top. Alright, so I've got my juice in my tank after I showed you how I wick it, what I do with the cotton, how much cotton I leave. I've already primed it a second time because the one thing I do with any tank, no matter what, even if it's an RBA, once I put the juice in, I heat it up a little bit so the cotton gets a little warm to suck in the juice, rejuice the coil, put the RBA back in, then I juice my tank. After I juice my tank, I close off my breathe holes to where you have nothing, and then 2, 3, maybe 4 hits of it without actually hitting your power source, so you can so you get the wicking feature to happen on those RBAs. And then I do a full open drag. To make sure that I've got a good flavor before I put a closed drag on it, where I have less, so I'm making sure that I'm not getting a burnt hit. Then I put it back over on my 2 holes. And that's where I usually smoke on my Mini, because it gives me a little bit of flavor and it also gives me still decent clouds, which I'm okay with. If you're going to use something like this with a mini tank or any type of a tank, make sure you have it turned as down low as you can, because otherwise the power is pretty great on it. But as you can see, I don't get any hissing on mine, and that actually tastes pretty good. In case you were wondering, it's called Cool Kooks by Vape Wild. It's a cucumber mint. Amazing. I'm a big cucumber guy, and that's awesome. Yep, that's what I do. That's how I get her done.